Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into the dorsal striatum, one of the most fascinating structures in the brain. So today we'll explore how this crucial region controls our habits, goal-directed actions, and even how we learn through rewards and punishments. The dorsal striatum, also known as the neostriatum or caudate putman, is a key player in how we form habits and how we make decisions based on goals. It receives massive inputs from the cortex, the part of our brain responsible for complex thoughts and actions. This region can be split into two parts: the dorsal-medial stratum, which is more involved in goal-directed behaviors, and the dorsolateral stratum, which is responsible for forming habits. So how does the brain actually learn? Historically, psychologists have debated between two models: the goal-directed learning model, which is where an action is performed because it leads to a specific outcome, and the habitual learning model, where actions are performed automatically in response to cues regardless of the outcome. In goal-directed learning, you perform an action because you expect a reward. Think of choosing healthy food to lose weight, but with habits, the action becomes automatic, like reaching for a bag of chips while watching TV even when you're not hungry. At the center of these processes is dopamine. Dopamine acts as a reinforcement signal telling the brain what actions are worth repeating and which ones aren't. But here's the key: not all dopamine signals are the same. Dopamine neurons in the brain are split into two major groups: ventral tegmental area dopamine neurons project to the nucleus accumbens, and substantia nigra pars compacta, where the neurons project to the dorsal striatum. While the VTA's pathway is crucial for reward prediction and Pavlovian learning, the nigrostriatal pathway from the substantia nigra to the dorsal striatum plays a bigger role in instrumental learning. This is where the brain learns the value of actions rather than just predicting rewards from stimuli. So let's focus first on goal-directed behaviors. The dorsal medial striatum is the critical region here. It helps you associate your actions with specific outcomes. Say you've learned that working out makes you feel great and improves your health. The dorsal medial striatum helps you connect the action of exercising to the positive reward of feeling better. Lesions in this area can shift behavior toward a more habit-driven mode, reducing the ability to adapt to changes in reward value. That means you could keep exercising even if it stopped making you feel good, or more likely you'd give up the habit entirely without that reward connection. On the other hand, the dorsolateral striatum is all about habit formation. Habits are formed through repetition. Actions are strengthened with practice until they become automatic responses to specific stimuli. Once a behavior becomes habitual, it's no longer influenced by the value of the reward. This means habits can persist even when the reward has diminished. The dorsolateral striatum takes control when the behaviors shift from being goal-directed to habitual. Dopamine from the substantia nigra plays a huge role in the process. Research shows that the dopamine projection to the dorsolateral striatum is crucial for habit formation. In fact, lesions to the dorsolateral striatum or reducing dopamine in this region can even prevent habits from forming, keeping behavior more goal-directed. This suggests that dopamine in the dorsolateral striatum reinforces stimulus-response associations that ultimately drive habitual behavior. Here's where it gets interesting. Many learning models are based on the idea of a prediction error, that the brain learns by comparing what it expects to happen with what it actually happens. Dopamine neurons signal this prediction error. When you get an unexpected reward, dopamine spikes. When you expect a reward and don't get it, dopamine dips. This feedback loop helps the brain fine-tune behavior over time, particularly in the dorsal medial stratum for goal-directed actions. It's important to recognize the difference between Pavlovian learning and instrumental learning. Pavlovian learning is stimulus-driven. Think of salivating when you hear the dinner bell. Instrumental learning is action-driven. You press a button because you know it will get you a reward. Dopamine from the VTA to the nucleus accumbens mostly drives Pavlovian learning, while the nigrostriatal pathway to the dorsal striatum is more about instrumental learning, especially for habits. So why does all this matter? Well, understanding the dorsal striatum's role in habit and goal-directed actions has big implications for understanding addiction and mental disorders. Many addictive behaviors start as goal-directed but quickly become habitual, driven by dopamine's reinforcement of these repeated actions. By targeting specific pathways like the dopamine circuits in the dorsal striatum, researchers hope to develop better treatments for addiction and even disorders like obsessive-compulsive disorder. To sum up, the dorsal striatum is a powerful part of our brain that governs both habits and goal-directed actions. From the dopamine-driven pathways to the to its role in learning and behavior. It's an exciting area of research that's helping us understand everything from everyday habits to complex disorders. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe.